Hello and welcome to Center Ice Cardcast, your one-stop podcast shop for all things hockey cards. My name is Eric Andrews, also known in the hobby as Hammerhawks, and I'm joined by my co-host and fellow hobbyist Aaron Goldstein, better known as Crease Collector. So to start things off for the episode, as is somewhat common, we just wanted to start by quickly showing off a few recent pickups of ours. So Aaron, do you want to start things off? I know you got a pretty nice one for your collection recently.
Definitely. So, as some of you may have remembered from a few episodes ago, we were running through some President's Choice in the Crease pickups, and I did mention that I was missing this card here, just to kind of finish off all the non-one-of-one cards, and that being the Stick Rack Quad Buffalo Sabre goalie card, numbered out of 3. I mean, they're all goalie cards, but this one was especially just really cool for me. Enroth hasn't had that many dual cards since his NHL playing days, so getting another one, especially featuring legends such as Craig Anderson, was just a big pickup. It also features Ryan Miller and Dominic Hasek. So to get a sweet card of those guys on is just really cool. So it's numbered out of 3, like I said. So yeah, just a really rare pickup. Shout out to Patrick on HI, who shortly after I mentioned on the podcast, reminded me that he pulled one from his break, and we were able to make a deal. So huge shout out to him, and yeah, it makes a really good addition to my collection. So yeah, happy to have it.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm glad you mentioned that, it's nice to have Miller and Hasek on there, but obviously the big stars of that card are Craig Anderson and
I
Jonathan Roth.
mean,
So
like as soon as I picked up this card, he had that 50 save game. So I mean, Craig Anderson, just Sabres legend.
true.
I think it was
Still,
actually corrected to like 49 saves or something,
mm,
but still amazing. Like good for him. I think he's 41 years old. I mean,
yeah.
to do that at the NHL level at 41 years old is just amazing. So good for him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I remember him being a prospect with the Blackhawks literally 20 years ago. So
I
yeah,
think there was this story where he actually changed his name
he
to
did.
have like another S or something in it so that he
Hmm.
could look like he's like Swedish or something, and then have that sort of mysteriousness about him so that he might get drafted higher or something like that. So a weird story there, but I guess it worked. I mean, I'm not sure what he was drafted. I don't think it was super, super high, but still, I mean, good for him, like pulling out all the stops before his career even started. So good for him.
Yeah, I want to say he was drafted originally like by Calgary or something in like 99, and then the Hawks drafted him. I think he re-entered the draft,
Yeah,
and
he re-entered it.
I think he was like a third rounder or something
I
for
mean,
the
good for him.
Hawks.
It was all
So
because of that name change.
I mean, that's
Good for
that's
him.
the magic to his very successful career. I mean, not that he's been like a Vezina winner or anything, but I mean, if you have that long of a career, you're definitely doing something right. So yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely cool to have that represented on that card, along with obviously two big time goalies like Miller and Hasek, and then obviously the legend himself, Mr. Enroth. So
Of
yeah,
course, of course.
definitely glad that you're able to pick up one of those and cross that off the want list. So for my mail, I've gotten a handful of pretty interesting things. It's been a little while since we recorded, so some of these have been in my collection for a little while, actually. The first one, this is one that I have, like I said, had for a little while. Obviously, earlier this year, Bobby Hull passed away, a longtime NHL legend, specifically for the Blackhawks. And I kind of heard from a friend that is, somewhat close with his family that he had passed away prior to, a lot of people reporting about it and stuff. So I kind of had a little bit of a heads up on that and jumped on eBay and was looking to see if I could find anything for a decent price before stuff inevitably went up. And came across this card and was able to get it for a pretty good price, and just a beautiful card. It is from 0405 in the game Ultimate Memorabilia, and it is a stick auto out of 40. Just a really nice design that
Very nice
I
card.
I always really liked. Yeah, just a really nice looking card. Nice design, obviously the big bold signature, nice game use stick piece, and I really like the photo too. Just a nice close up, and back in the day when in the game did have the NHL license, so it does have like the Tomahawk logos on the shoulder of the Blackhawks jersey and everything. So just a cool card there. So that's the first one. The second one, this one's a little bit more recent. I know Aaron does already know about this one, but as we had talked about last time, showing off some In The Crease cards, this is one that I did not have at that point in time, but just got recently, had been looking for it for a while and finally was able to get a hold of one. that being from the Holding the Stick insert set, numbered 2 out of 3 of Marc-Andre Fleury. So really cool piece of tape there from the handle of his stick. And what's cool is that Fleury has 4 different stick cards that are featured in the crease, and that was the last of the 4 that I needed. So I now have all 4 of those, being the stick rack, paddle down, stick tape, and now the Holding the Stick as well. So definitely was really cool to finally track one of those down and add that to that little mini collection, so to speak. The next one, I was pretty excited about this one. I've had this one for a little while at this point, but a really nice addition for my 0304 project, that being from Pacific Luxury Suite, an auto jersey rookie, number out of 299 of Patrice Bergeron. And obviously a really nice 2-color jersey there, which is awesome. Just a really nice card, and a pretty nice clean autograph for him, which he kind of struggled with that during his rookie season for whatever reason. It just wasn't super consistent, and he just kind of had issues with it being clean on cards for whatever reason. So the fact that this one is a pretty clean example of his autograph is really nice as well. So obviously was very excited to get that card. Cross that one off the list. And the next one, again, one that I've had for a little while at this point, but definitely a pretty notable card for my collection for sure. This one coming from 2015-16 Upper Deck, and it is a yellow printing plate of Jacob Slavin.
Nice. I thought you weren't a fan of printing plates. I guess if it's like a rookie card version, but still, I'm surprised to see you pick up a plate.
Yeah, so for Hjalmarsson, I don't have any of his rookie plates. I just never really was interested in them back then. But then once Slavin came into the league, he didn't have very many cards. So back at that point, I was like, hey, his stuff is really cheap and he doesn't have that much stuff, so I'm just going to go after him. So I was actually able to accumulate quite a few of his rookie printing plates back in the day before anyone really knew much about him. He wasn't really a hyped up prospect or anything, so his stuff was really cheap. So this is actually my third of the 4 Young Gun printing plates. And yeah, just found this one and was able to get a deal done for it. And obviously, yeah, a great card to have for the collection for sure. Really excited to get that one. And then the next one for the Nicholas Hjalmarsson collection, it is one of the 1819 Premier Mega Patches, which, if you guys have been following the
Nice.
podcast for a while, you know that I've been going very hard after these ever since the product came out. And there's 24 of the chest logo pieces, and this is my 21st copy of them. So I am 3 away.
That's amazing.
So yeah, obviously to find that and to acquire it was obviously very exciting. And yeah, I mean it's been quite the ride so far, but being able to get that close, I never in a million years would have thought that I would have gotten anywhere near having 21 of the 24. So
I don't know
uh,
if I've ever heard of anyone being this close to a full chess logo piece. I don't know if I've seen anyone complete it. Definitely many attempts, but 3 cards away, that's pretty close. That's awesome.
for sure, yeah, I know there have been people that have done it using like 2 different players to piece
Oh
together
yeah,
a
I've seen
logo.
that. But like the same player, like 24 of 24 cards, I've never seen that done.
Yeah, I'm not aware of anyone that's done that. The closest I'm aware of, I think our buddy Art actually, I believe he got 2 away on the Evgeny Dadonov one. I forget which year it was. It might have actually been 1819 as well. But yeah, one of the more recent premiere sets with Dadonov, he came 2 away. So that's the closest I've ever seen anybody do it with the same player. So yeah, to be 3 away is just remarkable. And like I said, never in a million years would have thought that that could have happened. So yeah, who knows? I mean, if I never see another one, that's okay. But yeah, definitely awesome to be this far along. And then my final pickup, again, one that I've had for a little while. Shout out to our good buddy Kurt Johnson, obviously very active on Hobby Insider and on Facebook as well. And he recently was kind of going through some of his cards in his collection from President's Choice Solid Gold, that that he liked the cards for sure, but they were just kind of cards that it was like, well, if I can move these and use these funds to pick up, bigger cards for my collection, I'll give it a shot. So he posted up some cards from Solid Gold on Facebook, and I saw this one and just kind of reached out to him and said, hey, like what are you thinking on this? Not really knowing what the value was and not knowing how much flexibility he might have had or whatever. Just seeing the card and knowing that it was pretty nice and interesting. I just figured I would reach out and ask. And fortunately, we were able to come to a deal, and it is just an absolutely spectacular card in person. And I'm definitely glad that I picked it up. That being, again, like I said, from President's Choice Solid Gold. It's from the Triple Memo insert set, and it's numbered 1/2 of Gordie Howe.
Hey, now that's awesome. Can't go wrong with Gordie Howe, Mr. Hockey. Well done.
Absolutely. And all three of those are actually emblem patches. So even though the Whalers and Arrows one kind of look like they could be number patches, they are specifically listed as being emblem patches on the back of the card, which definitely makes it a lot cooler, in my opinion, knowing that all three of those are emblem pieces just kind of takes it to the next level. Obviously, the Red Wings one is pretty obvious that it is an emblem piece, but yeah, just knowing that all three of those and it's kind of highlighting, the journey of his career is just a really cool thing. And I really like the triple memo design from Solid Gold. So just kind of putting all of those things together into one card just made it a really cool card. And, I thought that it would be a really cool addition to my collection, especially because I don't really have too many nice memorabilia cards of Gordie Howe. I have a handful of autographs, but I just didn't really have any nice memorabilia cards. So, just seeing this and kind of knowing everything that went into it, it just seemed like it would be a really cool card to have for my collection. And definitely grateful that Kurt was willing to let it go, and definitely glad that I was able to pick it up for sure. So then transitioning to the main part of our episode, obviously that being about 2020-21 the Cup. Joining us to break down all things about 2021 the Cup is friend of the show, Upper Deck product manager Billy Celio. Billy, thanks for joining us. And of course, you're on the road right now. So how is your drive going? And tell us a little bit about what you're heading off to do.
It's nice and sunny outside right now. I don't see a cloud in the sky. I'm on my way to Santa Monica. I'm going to try to get some autographs at the Spirit Awards. So that's how I kill time.
Hey, that doesn't sound too bad, especially from up here in Canada, where we're dealing with a massive snowstorm tonight. So I'm very jealous. So to kick things off with the Cup, if you can just go over quickly, just the timeline for this product. Obviously, it wasn't what you guys wanted originally, but just if you can go through a little bit of the timeline, that'd be great.
The Cup is probably one of the products that takes the longest to make. Like usually I have not seen the Cup from the previous year before I start building the next year's. So this one probably I started building in 2020. So if that kind of gives you an idea of how long, you guys are patient for this product to come out. And, I've been just as anticipating, the release of this product as you guys, because I want to see how some of these inserts, how some of these, designs have worked. And if they go well for the next time I build a Cup. I've technically built about 2 or 3 versions of the Cup, and I haven't gotten to see any of the inserts that I might want to, continue to put in the Cup. So that's a little frustrating along with the timing. But, when it all was said and done and they flew me out to North Carolina and we started packing this stuff out, I was really happy with a lot of what I was seeing. There's a lot of big names in it. We've got Crosby and Matthews and McKinnon and McDavid, just to name a few. So Gretzky, or, you got all those legends, Mario Lemieux, Jaromir Jagr. You got all the legends, you got all the superstars and the rookies. So we're really happy with how it turned out from the standpoint of content.
Nice. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, a major discussion topic about the product has been the price point at release. And I know you probably can't go into, super specific details, but, a lot of people probably don't really understand how pricing of products works. So are you able to share a little bit about how the pricing process works and how products eventually get to their final price point at release?
I'm pretty much given a price point to start with, and we have to hit a specific margin. And if we sit there and build a product, let's just say it's exactly the same as the previous year's product with like no new bells or whistles, and there's a big discrepancy in the margin that we hit, then we might have to make some changes in price points. And I'm not necessarily talking about the Cup or any other specific product, but that's kind of how it works. And I can say, last couple of years, the cost of printing from the vendors has increased. supply and demand, and a lot of the materials cost more money than they did before. Just the paper, the foils, the plastics, all that stuff is more expensive. And I know we've been saying it for the last few years, but it continues to go up. Every single time I get, something back with a costing, I look at the prices, and it's like, paper's gone up again, and foil's gone up again, and die cuts have gone up again. So, we do our best to limit any kind of price hike. That's pretty much how it works from a standpoint of how we decide the price. They kind of go in with the price ahead of time, and sometimes that price is adjusted. But if it's adjusted way before the product even comes out. It's not adjusted like, we sell our stuff to distributors. So we sell it at a specific price, and then they put it into the market. That's the upper deck, way when it comes to getting stuff to hobby shops. Hobby shops do not buy product directly through us. They buy it through distributors.
Awesome. Glad we got that, cleared up. It's obviously quite a long process, many channels. Switching it over to the actual look of the cards, as far as the designs go, what can you tell us about what went into the RPA designs this year?
One of the things that we did on this design is we kind of, we wanted to move the player image a little bit to the side. And what that does, it kind of gives more area where we can put the memorabilia. It gives more area where they can sign. Where if you put the player right in the middle, sometimes when you got those auto patch cards, you're just seeing the top of that guy's head. So we wanted to kind of place it a little bit to the side here, a little bit to the side there, allowing the memorabilia to kind of show and have a big enough area for the autographs. This year, specifically, we tried a few new things technology-wise, things that haven't been done before, or at least I don't think have been done before. So there was some sort of, checking some stuff out. They still have some of the nice, elegant designs, but there was a little more, I would say, creativity in our design department this year to kind of create some new inserts.
Very cool. Yeah, I really like the look of the cup RPAs. I think that, like you were explaining, just kind of moving stuff off to the side does kind of allow for some nicer, photography and, showing more of the player and stuff like that. So I think that was a good decision for sure. One other thing with the RPAs specifically that's always discussed and debated every single year is who gets those out of 99 RPAs. And, it might be an obvious process to some people, and clearly to others it's not. So what can you tell us about the process of determining who gets those out of 99 RPAs, and how far in advance does that process of determining those players happen?
Very early in the process. We want to give these guys as much time to sign their cards as we can. So we try to decide very early who those 99s are going to be. That being the case, sometimes guys like Jason Robertson kind of slip through, have strong second halves of their rookie season, but the cards have already been printed and numbered. So he was a 249 this year. Obviously, if you were to, how people say we redraft the draft or whatever, if we were to redo the deciding the 99, Jason probably would be a no-brainer 99. It's just he kind of came on in the second half, and there were some other big name prospects that we thought ahead of time were going to be bigger rookies.
That makes sense. I mean, as far as the planning of the product, that stuff goes on long in advance. I think it's pretty well known at this point, at least like Eric was saying, to most people it should be, but that makes a lot of sense. Turning to some of the inserts, what can you tell us about some of the new concepts that went into those, such as, the signature unis, the stick and move, chemical composition, just anything you could add to some of those new sets, lamp lighters, just kind of the inspirations behind some of those.
So Lamplighters is one of those new technologies that I wanted to try. I don't think I'd ever seen a card with PETG on top of rainbow foil board. We have our premier set where the rookie auto patches are, regular paper with PETG on top of it. And, you've seen that elsewhere, but I've never seen it with rainbow foil board. And I'm like, I wonder, how this will look. If you get like some sort of shiny, red tinted foil board with the player design, die cut, and put PETG on top of it with Spectrum Deco foil. And I think those are probably one of the biggest surprises. It came out how I was hoping it would come out. but I thought those are some of the really nice cards that were built. The stick and move, I wanted to have a stick insert. One of the things, these retired guys, their jerseys are getting harder and harder to come by, and they're more and more expensive. And we do our best to, purchase game used memorabilia, but we've found that purchasing sticks is a lot easier than buying it. Buying a Gretzky stick is a whole lot cheaper than buying a Gretzky jersey nowadays. So we're still getting high premium memorabilia to put into the card. It's just a piece of stick. So I wanted to make an insert that had a lot more retired guys in there with large pieces of stick. So that was a stick and move. The chemical composition, it's an interesting one. It was supposed to, I don't recall seeing too many inserts that had 3 different color fillers. When I say 3 different colors, I don't mean like one card has a red filler, one card has an orange, one card is yellow. I meant each card has 3 different color fillers, and depending on the rarity of that card, depends on how far they cut through to which color filler it goes to. Now, I was hoping for a little bit more of a cascading die cut on those cards. Unfortunately, it just kind of came to like one die cut, and you couldn't quite see the other colors from the farther down you got. You live and you learn. But they're still they're interesting cards. Will I bring those back? I don't know, but it's still kind of fun to see. We're able to execute different color fillers and die cuts with fillers. So maybe that concept will be used someplace else. I don't know if the insert itself will come back. One of my favorite, and people always ask me my favorite card in the set, it actually was inspired by our memorabilia team that like cuts the memorabilia. They're like, Billy, we're sitting here with like, they don't cut the C's and the A's, the captain's letters. And they're like, we're sitting here with a bunch of them. They're like, it'd be cool if we do a booklet with like both of them in there from each team. I go, that's a great idea. I'm open to suggestions. So that's where the Captains United insert came, where it's got the C and the A from a specific team, and I thought those were really cool. And then finally for new inserts, and I think it's really cool, and again, I don't know if it's been done before, is the base set and the rookie auto patches. We've got dual printing plate cards. And what I mean by dual printing plate is like auto patch cards and auto cards and patch cards, but it's the front printing plate and the back printing plate. It's not a booklet. The back of the card, there's an opening for the back printing plate. The front of the card, there's an opening for the front printing plate. And it's cut into it. It's got the memorabilia in there, and it's signed. If you look at our Facebook gallery, you'll see a bunch of examples of it. But those, I think, came out really cool. Again, something I don't know if it's been done before. So we tried to do a few new things this year.
Yeah, absolutely. I thought those front and back printing plates, like you were just talking about, are really, really cool. And I really like the Captains United and Lamplighter cards too. Thought those were great ideas and good execution. As far as some returning stuff, one set that I know that you really enjoyed from 1920 was that NHL Collection insert set, which obviously is back again this year after debuting in 1920. So what can you tell us about the NHL Collection cards this year? And what makes those special and unique compared to most other cards?
The NHL Collection, it's kind of like, you see like Paris Week, fashion show, like all these different fashion shows. Every week it seems like there's a fashion show in some country. I think Paris has like 20 of them. I have no idea. It just always seems like there's Paris Fashion Week and New York Fashion Week and LA Fashion Week. And there's like these different collections and stuff. So I was like, wouldn't it be kind of cool to make something fancy and elegant for then call it the NHL collection, where it's NHL players, it's a fancy, elegant design. It kind of gives you that cut / exquisite feel to it. I always want them to look really nice. I want them to be they're costed for 2 different colors of deco foil. So you got your gold and your silver deco foil on the same card, and usually you'll just find one color deco foil on the card. So the fact that there's 2, makes it even fancier. But I just think they're really cool cards. They're really nice, and I liked how they came out in previous years. Like I've seen the designs, and I just kind of knew that's one that I should probably keep doing because I think that one can stick.
Very cool. Another thing that are back after a little bit of a hiatus are cut signatures. Cut signatures, obviously, it's a little bit of a different process. Can you tell us about, the decision to kind of bring those back and what kind of went into that?
So we don't want to throw tons and tons of cut signatures at people all the time. And so when we put out chronology, there were cut signatures in chronology. So we just kind of stayed back a little bit from cut signatures. And I thought it was time to bring them back. We'd purchased some really amazing memorabilia for to be able to produce some nice cut signature cards. So I felt it was time to make some more cards with the cut signatures. So that's pretty much the reason why we brought it back. Is one, we don't have many other sets this year or that year that had cut signatures in it, and two, when we've got cool stuff, I don't want to sit on it. We didn't buy it just to store it in North Carolina. We bought it to put it out to the public.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely. Always really interesting to see who's included and see, just different, types of memorabilia that's included in those too. So definitely cool there. Another notable insert set, maybe you could almost call it like an insert line in the product this year, is a few of the different 0304 exquisite tributes. And, most notably, of course, the RPA design that has been used, but, some other things like the limited logos and stuff like that. And while specifically the RPA design has kind of been sprinkled around throughout products in the past a little bit, there does seem to be a little bit bigger focus on, the 0304 exquisite cards in this product. So, obviously with that being such an iconic design, they've been really popular, but what else can you tell us about those and why they were included?
Well, we use the 0506 design every year. People like the retros, people like the iconic design. And, around the time of building the set, like vintage sets were just getting more and more popular with collectors. So we wanted to kind of add a little bit of the 0304 designs. But I don't know if you've seen the limited logos yet. I didn't want to just do the regular limited logo. I actually did those on with PETG this year. So those came out even nice. I wanted to kind of redo them a little bit. Like, don't just have a regular card, but put PETG on top of the card. And those came out amazing. I was really happy with how those came out.
They look amazing. I mean, like, they have this like cool shine to it, which is really nice. So yeah, big fan of those, and it's definitely noticed. Another thing we noticed is the abundance of update cards dating back to 0708. Could you tell us maybe the story behind, those cards? They're quite old, and it's always funny to see those, I guess, new cards kicking around when someone opens up their box. So if you can lend a little bit of information towards that, that'd be very cool.
So we tried to build a set with limited redemptions, as few as possible. And then the other thing is, keep in mind, this is 2021. There were sets that came out that, we didn't get the cards from. And some of these people don't return their cards for years. Some of them, we were just like, okay, we've been sitting on these cards for a while, and now this player is, a lot better, or maybe people are trying to get this rookie card of this player. So when it comes to past products, it's either going to be a superstar. Like, you saw those Splendor cards, those are from the original set. The McKinnon, the Datsut, the Jagers, those are all, Forsberg, those are all from the original Splendor set that got returned late, and we wanted to have a home for them. So, and we put Splendor in the cup now, and it was time to get those cards out. So, you're going to see superstars, or you're going to see, rookies that, you would want to finish your collection of rookie cards for specific people. That's usually what we do, not buybacks, but, past products. That's usually the cards that we add. You're not going to see, I'm trying to think of a Red Wing that's, not amazing, but they're all amazing. You're not going to see a Michael Rasmussen, like, third year, card coming out as a past product. That shouldn't be in there, and it's not. But yeah, so that's pretty much the past product thing. It's either going to be a superstar or it's going to be a rookie.
Gotcha. Yeah, definitely makes sense. And it is really cool seeing, some of those, like you said with Splendor, some of those original cards, finally making their way out. Obviously players like that definitely deserve to be on that checklist. So the fact that they, all these years later, are finally getting included is really cool. Shifting gears, I'm sure you knew it was coming. Probably the biggest thing that people are talking about with the product is the fact that Kirill Kaprizov and Ilya Sorokin have sticker autographs on their cards. So, what all can you tell us about the process with their cards, the timeline of those cards, and how and why the decision to end up using the sticker autographs was ultimately made?
I mean, I'm going to give you the same answer that I've given everybody, and it was stickers, or it was nothing, or it was an unsigned card, because we make backups for all the rookie cards. We did everything in our power to get those cards signed. Our talent acquisition team went above and beyond to try to get those cards signed. And unfortunately, we weren't able to make it happen. So that's pretty much all I have to say. If we were to make redemption cards for those and not be able to get those cards, that's going to cost a lot of money to replace those cards. They're big cards. We understand that. It sucks that the big cards in the cup have to be, a sticker. That's not the norm. It's never been the norm, so we hope it doesn't come back to this. But we wanted to get them in there. We'd waited long enough. So we decided to use stickers for those cards. And I will say that I felt our team that applied the stickers, some of those cards were not made for stickers, and they had to trim the stickers, and they had to find like the right autographs that would fit in the amount of space for those stickers. So it wasn't the easiest job for them to do. So we did everything we could. I wish they were hard signed, but that's what happened.
Hey, that's totally fair. I mean, as soon as I saw that they were stickers, yeah, I mean, it's unfortunate, but in a product like the cup, if you guys put stickers, it's because you tried all you could, and the blame doesn't fall on you. It's other parties involved that might not have held up their end of the bargain, and other things like that. So, I mean, like, I think I speak for a lot of collectors that would like to have the card as opposed to a redemption card or maybe nothing. So I think this was the best case scenario, and I think, like you said, you guys did the best with the situation presented in front of you. So that's all you could really ask. But thanks for asking that question. Like, obviously, it's not always a fun one.
Nope,
And
it certainly is not.
Definitely not. Moving on to another question. A friend of ours from the show was asking, again, like a little bit related to the Kaprizov cards, but he noticed that some of the cards use the traditional sort of numbering, and then others use the quote unquote Italian numbering. So was that just a case of, some of the cards needing to be reprinted or something like that, where they needed to have two different kind of style fonts on them for the serial numbers?
That's a case of us wanting to get these cards printed and doing everything we can to get these cards printed. And that means some cards are going to be printed one place and some cards are going to be printed another place. And, the numbering is obviously a little bit different in one place than it is in the other place. That's what you're going to see. We've started using different vendors, and they just have a different style of numbering, and you've seen it in other sets already. So, I know people are used to a specific style of numbering. It still says 1 out of 1 or 1 out of 99. It's not.
I agree.
It's not any rare if it has a different font of numbering. I don't know
agree.
what to tell you.
I totally agree. It's just the number, but some people were just wondering. But thank you for clearing that up. We always appreciate it.
One last one that I have. I know another thing that a lot of people talked about too was when the preview images of the product were coming out. Once people realized that Kaprizov and Sorokin were stickers, they then kind of realized that there hadn't been any of their cards that were shown off in the previews. Was that like a conscious decision, or just kind of how it happened, or anything you could tell us about that?
That was some miscommunication. We didn't want to be all sneaky and sly about it. As I said, we waited to the last possible minute to be able to decide whether these were going to be hard signed or stickers. And I have pictures of all the cards on my phone. And when it came to putting the stuff out there, I as I said, I think it was a little miscommunication, and we decided not to put the photos up there. And it wasn't trying to be sneaky at all. As I said, we had the photos to post. It just I thought we weren't supposed to post them, so I gave direction to our marketing team not to post them. and they didn't. And then it comes out, oh, they were trying to fool us and stuff. It's unfortunate. I think looking back, we probably will do a little differently next time, and communicate a little better.
Sounds good. I think that's pretty much all the questions we have. Is there anything else that you'd want to add or share about the cup?
So I know you're wondering when the first Patrick Kane New York Rangers card is going to come out in the cup. I'm not quite sure, but be on the lookout. Maybe we'll just update Patrick Kane Rangers cards all over the place, and then we'll just make cards that just says first round draft pick and third round draft pick and second round draft pick for all of the Blackhawk players for next year, because that's pretty much all you guys got, right?
He's going to be all over that. He's going to be all over those cards.
I always got to troll Eric a little bit about his Blackhawk. So,
it's okay as long as you put Maple Leaf golfing cards in there, then we're even, I think.
Yeah, and then we need a Jonathan Quick Columbus Blue Jacket Hall of Fame card or something.
I saw this one post on Instagram.
I don't know if we have
that would be cool. Yeah, with the banner. I thought that was hilarious.
I cracked up. Yeah,
he was there for a lot of crazy seconds.
Stuff. A lot of crazy stuff going on in these trades. Our coordinators are busy updating checklists. That's for sure.
Oh, I'm sure it's definitely been a busy week. That's for sure. So, oh man, hey, thanks for doing this. Also, I know you're on the way. So big ups for that.
No problem, guys. I got to go get some gas.
Totally cool. It's been all fun. Good.
And we will probably talk to you again here soon when SP Signature Edition Legends come out.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Sounds good. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you later.
Take care.
It's always nice to hear from Billy for sure. And obviously his insight is always very much appreciated. Obviously with him being on the road, that kind of, is a challenge for the audio quality there. But, obviously we always appreciate that he's willing to take the time to, share about these products with us. So again,
he's so dedicated to our podcast.
Which
I'm a fan of. So always a fan. You got to love the grind.
Yes. Yeah. He's always willing to sit down and talk about whatever product that he's made. And like I said, definitely always appreciate that for sure. So yeah, always great to get that insight. And, and like you said too, Aaron, it's great that he's willing to answer those, the questions that no one really wants to, ask someone from Upper Deck.
Yeah, it's always awkward for us too.
Yeah, we don't enjoy asking those questions, but it's important topics that need to be discussed. And obviously people are constantly asking those questions online, and it's just not overly feasible or realistic for Upper Deck to really be responding online and all that. So yeah, the fact that Billy is willing to answer these questions for us on your behalf is awesome, and we certainly appreciate that he's willing to do that for those kind of uncomfortable and not overly fun questions. And like he said with the sticker autograph thing, that was never what they wanted to do. It's not what they planned on. It wasn't, oh, we're going to cut costs and use stickers. And it's none of that. It was never, what they wanted. It's not ideal. And, as you heard, Billy is literally the first person that is going to tell you that. So, just the fact that, he's candid about that stuff and, is willing to share and, kind of pull back the curtain a little bit on how that all kind of works and everything is really beneficial, for, I think, all of us, as collectors, just kind of getting a little bit better insight of, what's going on and why things are the way they are. So yeah, like I said, always really appreciate him coming on, and yeah, definitely excited to have him back on pretty soon here, coming up with SP Signature Legends. I know Upper Deck will be sending us a box of that, and we'll have Billy back on to talk about that. But as far as episode 75, I think that will do it. So as always, please be sure to follow us on social media. We can be found on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube at Sunrise Cardcast, and on Twitter at SunriseCC. Please also be sure to subscribe to the show on your podcast platform of choice to make sure you never miss a future episode. Until next time on Sunrise Cardcast, keep collecting those hockey cards.